Okay, well, good afternoon and thank you all for being available this afternoon. This year's ANZAC Day, Port Adelaide will again present the Badco VC medal to Sunday in the ANZAC Round Sunday evening at Adelaide Oval between the Power and St Kilda. South Australian Major Peter Badco was killed in action during the Vietnam War and was posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross. He was only one of 4 Australians from the Vietnam War to receive the honour. Port Adelaide has presented the Peter Badco VC medal with the permission of the Badco family continuously since 2014 during ANZAC Round home games. And if it's not presented on the ANZAC Round, there's no ANZAC Round home games, the next available round after that. It is presented to the player whose conduct and play during the game best demonstrates the ANZAC spirit and qualities of skill, courage in adversity, self-sacrifice, teamwork and fair play. The RSL always looks forward to working with the Port Adelaide Football Club in the conduct of the ANZAC Round at Adelaide Oval.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Try to say a few words,
Yeah.
guys.
Well done, Cheryl.
Well done. Questions?
Just on behalf of the Port Adelaide Football Club, it's a great privilege for our football club. Thank you very much to the RSL, the Australian Defence Forces, for us to be playing on ANZAC Day, and it's extra special that this game this year it falls on ANZAC Day itself. It's the 17th consecutive year that Port Adelaide has played on ANZAC Day. It's a really significant day for our football club. 130 past players who served our country, 13 of whom didn't return. Legends such as Bob Quinn and Will Drummond. So it's an enormous privilege. It's a day that is more, it's about a lot more than just football. It provides a fantastic opportunity for us through football and through our football club to tell the amazing story, the stories of these great Australian and New Zealand servicemen. So thank you very much to Cheryl and the RSL again for the opportunity to be able to present the Peter Badco medal. And we're really excited and really privileged to have this opportunity again.
Questions?
After not having it last year, how significant is it to get it back here at Adelaide Oval this year?
It's extra special. I think last year was such an extraordinary year. It's such an important day for our football club, but also for the community, and to be able to celebrate that on ANZAC Day is again, it's extra special. If you think about what that day means for so many Australians now with the dawn services, and then to be able to finish the day at Adelaide Oval with a game of footy, and it's a really big and important game of football for our club. But then to be able to host the RSL and the Defence Forces on that day is something that's really significant, and we don't take it for granted. And we're really looking forward to the opportunity.
I think Richo touched on it, but obviously what we do pales in comparison to those that have served for the country and risked their lives for the nation. But it's great to be able to use it as a platform to teach younger generations about what those before us risked and sacrificed for us to be where we are today.
How do you build that ANZAC theme into the game yourselves as players?
I think there's a little bit of natural energy that comes around the sense of occasion. There'll obviously be boys that go to dawn services in the morning. There'll be those that have relationships with people that have served, parents, grandparents, uncles, mates. So I think the gravity of it is still very real, and naturally it feels like it's an extra special occasion.
Cheryl, just a general question on ANZAC Day. Are you satisfied with the COVID restrictions and the crowds for the events that are happening?
Well, we have to be, don't we, under the circumstances that we're in, and we're following the state government's guidelines. We're getting out there, we're getting 2,500 at the dawn service. The march is going ahead as planned. Only we've asked descendants not to march on the particular day, and the Cross of Sacrifice is still going ahead, just with restricted numbers, that's all. But most in the suburbs, there have been no RSL dawn services cancelled. All bar a couple of smaller ones are going ahead.
And we've got Adelaide Oval going up to 100%, so do you think there should be more crowds allowed in some of these?
Well, it's a little bit different with events, because events are paid for, and they've got event staff organising them and security and stuff like that, whereas the RSL doesn't have that and doesn't have the money to afford the event staff and things like that. So it's a little bit different scale to what we can do. But it's good that it's going back to 100%. Unfortunately, it's not for this weekend, but it will be for the showdown. So, yeah, good.
South Australian government gave the RSL some money in order to run those suburban events. Can you just talk us through that? What are you thinking?
I'm unaware of that. They're individual sub-branches, the bigger sub-branches, the one like the Morphett Vale, the Semaphore and Port Adelaide, and the Brighton. Well, actually Brighton didn't. Brighton's was done by the council in its entirety. So the state government, to my knowledge, at this point have only helped out Morphett Vale down on the corner of South Road, Main Ontario Road, and Semaphore and Port Adelaide on the beachfront.
So would it be appropriate or not, we always use adult themes with football clubs? Do you actually feel a bit out of scale at the moment going to the schools?
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to draw comparison in particularly this week, but from a footy perspective, we've got some sore bodies, and we've had a few blokes that probably still need to prove their fitness later in the week. But that's just part of the game. It's going to be a long year, we're back to 22 rounds and full length and some adjustment to the rules. So we're going to have to adapt and give other people an opportunity. We've got great trust in them that they can do the job.
One of those who lost today is Lockie Jones. Unfortunate for him, but who does it set up to come to the side?
Yeah, it's very disappointing for Lockie, but we know that he'll attack his rehab and be back in a month or so. It opens the door for the likes of Miles, who played on the weekend, to come back down half back. Marty Frederick, Jared Leanett. We've got a bit of a embarrassment of riches in the back half at the moment, which is making it frustrating for some of the boys called at SANFL level, but at the same time, there will be opportunities throughout the year.
Is it also stand back in mind what support they did at this ground last week?
It's not in the back of my mind, it's in the front of my mind, Rouge. Very aware of St Kilda's threats, particularly with the amount of flack they've been copying in Victoria. It's a big game for them, but it's equally as big a game for us, so we'll be well prepared.
Clubs always talk about the next one in, just to replace the next soldier in. Does it become a tipping point, though, when you have so many injuries continuing to pile up?
Yeah, absolutely, but I don't think we're near that point yet. We've had a couple in the last week or so, and I think it might be between 1 to 3 changes this week max. So at this stage, I think we've got a lot of depth, and we've talked about it throughout the pre-season, and we're very confident that those that come in might not necessarily have the same strengths, but they'll have certainly their own strengths that will complement the team.
Houston and Hartland, are they two of the others that are under the
Yeah, those boys are both pretty sore, but I'm pretty confident that they'll both get up. Hamish and Dan are important to the team. They're also pretty tough customers, so I'd expect them to play.
Who else is under a player?
I think that's probably it, but if you went out and had a look at training, there's a fair few of us on light duties, which is sometimes needed, and sometimes it's nice to get a little bit of a chop out when you're having a pretty fierce contest on the Saturday. So we've had 2 of those in a row, and the strength and fitness department have sort of looked after us.
Club got a big boost this morning, Rich, obviously, with the ahead of the showdown with the crowd increase. Is there any update on the other thing the club's looking for the showdown prison situation?
Yeah, no update at this stage. I mean, we're as we've said, this week's really all about ANZAC Day. It's a really important week for our club, and we would expect something, some sort of formal response next week. So we look forward to that.
Obviously going up 50,000. Can you tell the difference in the players between 40,000 and 50,000 not fans?
Probably not with our fans. They're so vocal and passionate. So it's more just exciting to be able to get more people into Adelaide Oval, and obviously some people have had to move seats and some people have missed out, and the opportunity to get as many of our supporters there as possible is great from a support point of view, but also a bit of reward for them after a tough 12 months.